prior to this live, you asked us to watch a video by Dr. Claude Anderson. And there was something that he said in the video that I actually agree with a lot. And it's contradictory to the concept of equality, this idea that we have to operate in the system that we exist in and try to be equal within their system. The problem is that we don't have our own, where it's almost impossible for us to go into someone else's system, someone else's community, and demand equality. What Dr. Anderson was more so focusing on was the concept with Powernamics that we need to establish our own capitalistic society, our own community, the same way every other ethnicity does. If, like how you said, other people, they will come to this country and they have everything handed to them, who is the one who's handing it to them? Their community. While every other ethnicity has their own community base, we don't have anything outside of, as he said in the video, a neighborhood. You may have Black owned neighborhoods, but that's it. What about outside of that? What about Black owned businesses? And that's something that we lost with our fight for civil rights. Civil rights was us trying to fight to fit or to be considered equal to, our ethnic counterparts of the time. And that was the battle that kind of led to our demise to a certain extent, because prior to that, we did have Black communities, and Black communities were doing very well. That's when we had Black Wall Street, but a lot of people don't know Black Wall Street was a common thing, and it existed across the United States. Why? Because white communities did not want Black people to be their doctors, be their nurses. They didn't want to let us in the same establishments that they were. However, we still needed those services. So you would see Black care physicians, you would see Black business owners, because we weren't allowed in the white establishment. And it was seen by the white establishment that we were accumulating wealth at extremely high levels and very rapidly. And that's where they started to give in a lot more when it came to the civil rights, and where that, in my personal opinion, where that whole concept came from, because by making us try to create equality within their system, we lose the ability to create for ourselves, to support ourselves. So again, while other people are coming into this country and their community is giving them everything that they need to be successful, we have to get what is given to us. A lot of times it seems like to be Black in America is to be forced up under a socialist standard in a capitalistic society. We're not allowed within their capitalistic system because we don't have one of our own. So that's something that's what I got from the video. And I definitely agreed. It's something that I've had debates with people about, because as soon as you say something contradictory to civil rights, people tend to get in their feelings, and I completely understand it. And I get where that comes from. But when you look at the history, when you look at the statistics, when you look at the data, as Dr. Claude Anderson brought up in his video, that back in the 1700s or 1800s, we were at just under 2% ownership or 1% ownership. Now we barely made it to 2%. So that's not exactly progress. So if the civil rights movement and what we were fighting for at that time was so great, why aren't we doing any better? We're fighting for food stamps, as he said. We're fighting for social programs, but we're not fighting for the establishment or the tools in order for us to build and create for ourselves, to support ourselves. We're basically allowing ourselves to be taken care of by the system. In the system, that's what socialism is. So for the people who say the problem is capitalism, no, the problem is not capitalism. The problem is we don't have our own capitalistic social system within this economy. We are operating under socialism. If you think socialism is so great, look at what the Black experience is. That is the definition of socialism. And it is not beneficial in any way, shape, or form. Getting food stamps is not helpful, because you will never be able to get off of those food stamps. The price of food goes up, price of gas goes up. And if all you're doing is working a job, collecting a paycheck, you are essentially the working poor. It is just a new variation of the same type of slave mentality and slave system that we operated in the beginning. They say that the slave system just transferred into the prison system, but I would argue that it also continued into this quote unquote capitalistic system that is really socialism when you are Black in America. They want you, if it makes no sense that if a woman has the father of her children in a household, she's not able to receive government assistance. So how's she ever supposed to get off of government assistance when it's nearly impossible to be able to provide for a family on one income? That doesn't make sense. This system is not created for us to be successful. The only way to be successful is to break out of that system and establish our own. And you do that through entrepreneurship.